So after a few weeks of speculation, Wannabe Kirito has finally been introduced after getting teased in the opening, and from Jinguuji becoming a father trope and just getting called father by Wannabe Kirito, to the number of tropes that were not just broken, but like put into a blender, blended up, and then just tossed into the ocean. This was like literally an author taking the piss on the tropes that we see in reincarnation stories time and time again. From, you have, and I am gonna call him Wannabe Kirito in this review, like eventually get a hang of his name, but honestly I'm just gonna call him because that's what he's designed to be, the dark swordsman, the black swordsman. His character design from the cloak to the blade is a spitting image of an SAO parody, and I absolutely love when he's introduced because the whole idea of like never actually drawing his blade, and the first time he does, he basically cuts apart a town and almost kills innocent civilians, to just the entire idea that from his point of view, because this must be another reincarnated person, he's seeing it as tropes that he's seen before, like, oh, he can't get involved with Tachibana because in doing so, he eventually will have to return to his own world, and in return, he'll leave her heartbroken. And seeing all the number of things that goes through his mind, as really they're just trying to get the hell away from what seems to be a crazy person. And to see how, when getting arrested, how he's constantly being like, no, see, I have the symbol. I'm a chosen hero from the goddess. Oh, well, that's another crime. We're gonna put even more because you're basically taking up false idols here. To just the whole idea that he doesn't even listen, like he'll be given his heroic speeches and the guy who's literally saving his ass to let him prove he's a hero is just making fun of his inability to listen to people. This show is fantastic. All the tropes that they're basically making fun of, I do enjoy when they're actually being taken seriously. But the best part of comedy is when you can have fun with the things that you enjoy being made fun of. And this show is literally making fun of everything that this genre is known for, while simultaneously building up an actual pretty interesting romance between these two friends, because there's no way in hell they don't ultimately become something. Whether Tachibana goes back into being a guy or not remains to be seen, but like that's the entire point of it. And I absolutely love the comedy of this episode, and one of the ongoing gags I was hoping would be an ongoing gag when we saw is when Jinguuji literally planted people into the ground, and to see these bandits come back in, but actually Kirito being the one to kind of like put them into the ground, was just the icing on the cake of an already silly situation. I'm not gonna lie, I'm wondering if I'm the only one who felt it. When they were selling Tachibana and Jinguuji the kind of like headwear that apparently would distract eyes, because when you're walking through town with a bag on your head, you're looking a little odd to say the least. And I thought with the amount of coins, I think it was like 300 gold coins or something like that, and like literally moments prior they said they got like 7 silvers or something for the sacred beast pelt. I was like, damn, like he's probably scamming them, right? There's no way for that amount of money he's not pulling something from them. But seemingly it actually does work, but it does have its limitations. Like, it basically just distracts eyes from Tachibana, but if she does get a little too in their face, ultimately people are going to be drawn into her no matter what. And I absolutely love just seeing these two goofballs have the time of their life while taking nothing all that serious. Like, through and through, this is a isekai reincarnated story. Like, there clearly is set up within their world that there's going to be some great evil, and apparently different goddesses send different people in order to tackle said evil. But the way that they don't take anything seriously, because we know Jinguuji's stat level, he could probably one-shot the Demon Lord at this point, and if not, it's still going to be damn funny to witness. As you have Tachibana, who has no skills other than luck, and of course pisses her off because of that. The fact that she could probably charm the Demon Lord. I don't think it matters whether it's male or female. Like, she could probably woo it, and then in return, you know, you could just cut off its head. Though I am curious if we'll ever see, like, I don't think we'll see it in this season, but if we ever did get a taste of some great catastrophe evil, would we essentially see, like, Tachibana woo said evil with her beauty, Jinguuji about to deliver the final blow, and then Kirito comes in and slices and takes the credit or something? Like, that would be amazing, because I don't think Jinguuji really gives a shit about the credit, but I mean, just thinking about the internal monologues or what he says out loud, there's so many times he's just speaking tropes, left and right tropes, and the fact that no one gives a shit is absolutely fantastic. But I think the smaller area that really helps it be more than just a comedy gimmick show is that they actually do bring up questions that I think anyone should think about if you had this, right? Because Jinguuji could just leave Tachibana in the apartment, because that door can be summoned anywhere. So why bring someone who can basically cause a kind of zombie outbreak of people wanting to marry her, then you can just leave her resting in, because it's not like she's the fighter of the group, Jinguuji is. But the fact that, one, Jinguuji wants to spend time with Tachibana, but two, there's some good questions to be made. One, you can't leave the door out there because a lock, right? I mean, Kirito's sword's gonna cut through that damn door, it feels like. But two, what happens if the door's not summoned because you don't want someone to come in accidentally and then in return Jinguuji dies? Well, you're gonna be trapped in that apartment, and as we know, it's not like that apartment just recreates food and things like that. It only has what it had when they were transported to this world. I mean, despite this being an absolute slapstick comedy show, there is some genuine reactions while being thrown in with that comedy bunch, and I am really, really excited to see how the cast is going to continue to open up, because now that we have a piece of headwear that simply will distract from everyone just being a zombie plague, because as funny as that is, it would eventually grow old. So now we can spread out the comedy into more areas. With the headwear, we can avoid just having everyone just give them whatever they want. Jinguuji still has to be careful with his strength, and the idea that now we can interact with people like this dark swordsman who literally is spouting isekai tropes left and right, and it not being distracted by, oh, now he wants to marry her just because of that. Of course, there still is that romance, kind of like, oh, he wants her for himself because he's gonna take her away or something, but it's not to the same degree as just them being foaming at the mouth because of some Tachibana romance spell and things like that. It's just great to see how they're spreading out their comedy more and more, and it really doesn't feel like it's doing the same thing every week. Shows like these can get stale, they can run the same joke time and time again, and you can say, okay, it's still funny, but is this something we need to discuss every week? Is this something that we really need to recommend above other shows this season? But it is telling a story while simultaneously improving on the comedy foundation every single week. The voice actors still continue to blow me away, and I am so happy to see that everyone is fitting their role so well. Disgruntled guards who just are kind of like done with the bullshit of this hero shit. The main duo, just how they're continuously to flirt with each other but also getting so pissed off at each other. The dark swordsman literally being that isekai trope that I just love seeing in a show like this. To even like sprinkling in a potential like, oh, I wonder if there's some chemistry brewing, because that guard seemed to be a little interested in Jinguuji, and Jinguuji seemed to, like the maturity of that guard, and I'm like, oh, are you gonna get into an arc where Tachibana gets jealous that Jinguuji is talking with another woman? That could be very funny. Overall, this show is fantastic. This show is absolutely hilarious, and still some of the best comedy I've seen in the anime medium, and I would be very, very shocked if there's multiple shows this year that can match the pure outlandish comedy that this show has going for it. Of course, as always, I will pass the torch over to you. What did you think about finally seeing the Black Swordsman himself and everything that went down? What do you think is going to happen with next week's episode? If you have any theories, leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.